Welcome back, everyone. This is Sethikus Boza, Black Earth Productions, Blue Flame, Healing Arts and Occult Science, Temple of the White Dragon, here on another segment. Today I am joined by Jaslina on a follow-up session. It was taken, level 1 apprentice, full rights into the mystery school in terms. Jaslina, how's things been going with you since we last corresponded directly?
Great, lots of stuff going on. The main reason I wanted to meet this time, I have two things I want to cover. The first one is the void, trying to understand what that is specifically.
It's anything that you're avoiding.
No, like the void.
Right?
So you're saying it's anything I'm avoiding?
Anything that you resist in terms of that, you get sucked into the void with it otherwise, in terms of resistance. The void is a fucking vacuum. Okay. Another term for it, which I use, is the abyss. And this is essentially where all the dark gods sprang forth, the parasitized womb gate of reality. That's what the fucking void is. Other people have opinions about what the void could be. There's correlations to Gununga Gap in terms of the mythos, which I take to the circle of the magician, which is a completely different thing. The void is a counterfeit simulation, construct, in terms of manipulation of reality, this phenomenon, which completely cuts us the fuck off. What we're actually connected to here, and slowly over time, in context to the lockdown, triangulation factors, all these things I explain, your codes, your templating, your life force energy is slowly siphoned into its grid work of consciousness. It's the lower sub-realm astral grid works within the first 4 veils, like I talk about in Labyrinth and 9 veils.
Yeah, I just re-listened to that. Yeah, trying to remember where you talked about the void. You specifically said that it doesn't have to do with vortex mathematics, right?
No, it's the antithesis of everything that's in alignment. It's the bowels of complete and total separation from reality.
Okay. I was getting it confused. There's the...
Right, terms and semantics, right? How people are using words to explain things. That's where shit gets confused. It's cross streams. Okay, what do you mean in context? Context is everything.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was noticing. I keep hearing people using it different, and then I was getting confused as to what we're actually talking about. Right. So it doesn't have anything to do with the zero.
The void? No.
Okay.
That's the antithesis of Gununga Gap is the fucking void. It operates in the same way, but it's all inverted. It's all triangulated. It's all manipulated to devour life. It's Jormungandr. Jormungandr is the fucking void, the lockdown, the 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8. That specific mathematical construct, the manipulation factor in terms of reality. That's the control over you, over your fucking mind, over your templating, over your life. That's the illusion. That's shit that people are programmed to. And it cuts you off from your ability within the actual fulcrum of the circle of the magician, take it back to Gununga Gap, where all life, existence, meaning, purpose sprang forth. All of these things.
So that's the zero, where all life springs forth.
Zero, to how I teach, is not nothing. It's everything. It's all potential. It's not void of anything. It's what you decide you are going to experience here. And see, the universe doesn't know that you don't know thyself. It will continue to deliver an experience to that, assuming that you do know. But this is why people suffer and struggle, because they don't know how things actually work.
That's why I'm coming back at this point for a session, is because I've come to a point where I can actually start to work with a lot of the stuff that you've talked about. Just, like before, I had a hard time. I didn't always understand exactly what you were talking about. But now I've studied enough, I think, where I can start to be like, oh, that's what he's talking about. Because when I listen to stuff now, it just makes so much more sense to me. But I'm still obviously seeking clarification.
Yeah.
Because again, like you said, like there's so many different cross streams of information.
It's terms and semantics. I speak in a metaphysical language. Right. It takes a little bit to really catch what I'm saying. Once you catch it, though, you can go back and listen to my segments and things will make even more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like that with other people I listen to as well, the correlations I'm able to make. I get what they're saying in terms. And once you can make the playing field even, that's where you start to transcend to go to the next level. And you're not manipulated by the infrastructure of what everyone's been conditioned and enslaved to in context to the void. It's all designed to siphon life force. It's all designed to pull you in, and slowly over time start to decline. Your health goes down, you start to wither and age. And there's many different factors as to why that happens as well, but it all operates within the void.
Okay. If the 0 is everything, then 9 is our individual.
9 is your nervous system. 9 is the one to fire, physically speaking. It's the roots. It's where we experience everything on a multidimensional level. How we streamline sound, consciousness, energy, frequency, and vibration into physicality on a multidimensional level. And that being the main fucking target, if the wand of fire is not operating optimally and you're not within this practice, that's the thing about the tarot getting into the Fool Gate. It's the symbolism of the signs of the circle. And the circle of magician is Ganunga Gap, where everything springs forth. It's that spark. That's what the sun is. Soul spark. That's what the Fool Gate's all about. Yeah. And igniting that wand of fire within the fulcrum of the circle. Otherwise, you never get out of that first gate. Everybody walking off the cliff in life over and over, lifetime after lifetime. Without proper knowledge and wisdom, knowing how things work, we're not going to fucking transcend. And then you become a slave to the infrastructure of the void. That's where the dark ones rule from. They're fucking vampires. Straight the fuck up. They can't come out into the true light. That's what we hear in the mythologies. Those of us that are ignited soul become a threat, and that's the war. That's why I have the wolf shield up. It's the war between the Lycan and the fucking vampire. And the wolf, being the true guide that's also there within the Fool Gate, is symbolism of the higher force. And that's the sun. That's the ignition of the gates of true intelligence. Once the first eye cracks open, you're going to potentially get a 360-degree view within the fulcrum what the fuck is actually going on. You don't get triangulated in terms of a sliver or a spoke within the wheel of the Ouroboros, giving birth to themselves but devouring themselves at the same time in context to the void. That's what the void does. It devours. It siphons your fucking codes. It takes from. It doesn't add to. The universe abhors a vacuum, right?
Uh-huh.
Goes against nature and the universe and life, purpose of existence and meaning. And so the void, another thing that people can take the whole concept of the void into is straight up fucking nihilism. There is no purpose. There is no meaning. What the fuck is the point?
Right.
Meaninglessness, guilt, shame, remorse, hopelessness, despair, all of that shit. Mm-hmm. Fuck this realm.
Yeah.
Hating existence because you haven't found that sense of meaning within the fulcrum or access the gates of true intelligence and context. So it's the antithesis. It's the counterfeit. And it's where a lot of these lesser entities actually spring forth, the fucking abyss.
I went back and listened to our initiation session also, see where I started and see where I am now. We had talked about the blackening. Are there any ways to create situations where you can experience the blackening intentionally?
The blackening phase of the alchemical rites of initiation is where you go to confront an assumed identity in terms of programming to the void that has to fucking die.
Right, yeah.
It goes into its death throes. And this is what everyone's avoiding, a void, which is why the void is there in terms of that antithesis, the crux, the paradox of why they fucking suffer. They're not willing to turn around and face it, seal off the rift and bridge the fucking gates and do the real work in context. They're not initiated. People, they don't fucking get it. And this is why I advocate actual initiation so people can get the fundamentals and principles of how things actually work. So you're not avoiding what is necessary to transcend and heal. The blackening phase is where all of that is confronted. The whitening and the reddening are where we're integrating higher grid works of consciousness that we've been veiled from, solidified past the integration within the blackening phase. It's a stepwise progression. It's a process. Some things can heal faster than others. But if you're all riddled the fuck up, the nervous system with all these seals and implants and Jehovian seals, whatever the fuck, there's hooks within the body politic on a multidimensional level that keys you into their grid works of consciousness.
Yeah.
And a lot of people avoid that because going into it, they don't have the ignition of the true guide. That's why the Circle of Magician, learning the science of the Circle of Magician is so important. So you get access to that before the journey even fucking starts. That's what the Fool Gate is all about. You can't even take that quest. You will get fucked up if you go into the shadow realms without that guide. Once these lesser entities see you, see them, they're going to come for their fucking meal ticket. Right. So again, the warning in terms of the alchemical rites and knowing what you're getting into before this quest can really be taken. We start at the first gate. We start at the foundation. We start where we must before getting too ahead of ourselves. And that's where a lot of people fuck up. And that's why a lot of things that people are into as far as any sort of quote unquote practice doesn't fucking work. Look at the state and the condition of the fucking world. Has anything fucking worked on the level?
Right.
If anything, it's only served the void in terms. That's what the New Age movement's all about.
Mm-hmm.
It's all love and light and bliss and fucking angels and aliens and all this bullshit. Again, people have been veiled.
Yeah, and it's only getting worse. I know we continually go through the phases multiple times throughout our life. I feel like I've been broken down so much. I want the integration process of the parts that I want to keep. From my understanding, it's where you pick up pieces from the blackening that are part of your true self and you integrate them. Yeah.
That's important. That's very fucking important. Good.
And now that I've identified those, I wanted to make sure I was understanding right. As I start to reconnect with those pieces torn apart, is there anything else that I'm missing?
Everything that goes into its death throes during the blackening phase is an assumed identity. What you've been conditioned to, woundedness, trauma, overlays, distortions, nets, traps, snares, programming, in context to who you assume you are versus who you truly are, which begins to reveal itself during the whitening phase, where you integrate portions of higher self, those grid works of consciousness in connection to the higher force. But you can't bridge this antithesis, the void, unless you're willing to fucking die in context to who you assume you are. That's what everyone's been conditioned to avoid at all costs. If we don't wake the fuck up and remember who we truly are. Again, the universe doesn't know that you don't know thyself. So based upon the manipulation of these fundamentals and principles, which is what dark sorcery is, it keys people into the lower astral gridworks of consciousness within the first two veils to keep that core wound festering within the fourth veil. Nobody gets out. There's no transcending this realm in terms of the infrastructure without the dragon and the key. What's the dragon? It's the ignition of the true will force, the internal dragon, like I explained. And the key to unlock the gates, proper knowledge and wisdom, the eternal axioms, the universal laws of metaphysics, and how things actually work. And how that applies to you as an individual in terms of your templating, bloodline factors as well. Codes, things happening on a multidimensional level. You're breaking the chains. You're stacking and burning this shit down to white hot fucking ash. And then eventually, once you let it the fuck go, that's when the phoenix rises. That is another term for the internal dragon. The internal dragon awakens from within the core aspects of intelligence. True intelligence, not artificial. There's a difference between true intelligence versus artificial. All AI can do is mimic surfaces of what it's observing, patterning with humanity to keep people locked down into the fucking void. So you never come into the whitening. You never come into the reddening where things are solidified. Now you know. Now you really fucking know. It's not assumption. It's not speculation. It's not opinion. It's a deep inner knowing, solidified, and you can back it the fuck up. This is why. Here's the evidence. Held accountable to it. And the worst thing you can do is avoid the progression of your existence. It's spirit becoming matter, your eternal spirit to soul code, blood code essence, embodying that within this realm. And you're not layered the fuck up with all this stuff that's pulling you out of alignment. But that's how the wheel of samsara operates. And there's no transcending it otherwise. You'll just go into another construct of manipulation against the fucking soul. And the other fucked up thing is that we've been conditioned to be afraid of who we truly are. Because you are required, you have to take responsibility. And if you avoid that, the condition of those individuals that even know the difference and then they go back into the quote unquote matrix, their condition is going to be worse than those that don't even fucking know the difference. Willfully going against reality and how things actually work. You're going to suffer even fucking more unless you see things all the way through. Once the process takes you, it's going to take you and you have to see it all the way through.
Right. I was getting stuck in a grief process. I need to move past this. And felt like a shift of energy, and I started revisiting everything.
That's where you really begin to recognize that they want to keep people in a trauma-based mind control. Trapped in the Shadowlands. That's where the Dark Ones fucking rule from. And that's the fucking world. Unfortunately, blind to these factors, they don't understand what the fuck is really going on here and why we're pressed up against these challenges and contexts. There are beings here that cannot do what we can do, cannot connect to the higher. They try to ride in on your codex. They try to ride in on your templating. And that's what they've done with the quote unquote elite, be those that are pushing the control factor in terms of mind control, get us to build the infrastructure for them. We're not living in a simulation, okay? They're trying to suck us into a simulation in terms of AI. Nature in the universe is very real. It's a part of reality on a multidimensional level. This realm, our physical lives. As far as I'm concerned, it's the highest realm we could possibly be in, because everything converges here on a multidimensional level, which is also why it's such a great challenge. This is where we fucking ascend. This is where we anchor the higher in the face of all of these challenges. Otherwise, the world is going to continue to be in thrall the dark ones. It's cause and effect.
So do you see a path through all this AI stuff? But
yeah, I've explained
I mean, there's not a lot of people that have a good vision for what we're even trying to do to get through this.
Right, because they don't have a true sense of meaning or purpose in terms of their existence. They're fucking programmed. And right now the program is dictating this nihilistic state of fucking mind with most fucking people. They've been conditioned to hate their lives and hate reality so fucking much, and I jump right into it. Give me the simulation. They don't even want to be in their physical bodies anymore because they think it's some kind of a fucking prison. From the get, right there, this Gnostic fucking narrative has pushed people forward towards escapism and avoidance in terms of their responsibility when it comes to actual incarnation. Be a fucking slave if that's what you fucking choose. Realize it's a fucking choice.
Right.
It's always a fucking choice. You are free to literally do whatever the fuck you please. Literally anything. Now imagine the possibilities.
A lot of people get paralyzed with that, right? The blank canvas.
Right, because they haven't tapped that creative potential in terms of the true will force.
Yeah.
Seal the fuck off. Now you're responsible. What am I going to paint? What if I fuck it up? What if I make mistakes? Well, so what if you do? You can course correct. But we can't change how the objective reality field operates. We can't avoid that. We have to know how it works. Otherwise, it's going to be manipulated against us. And that's 95% of the population of the fucking earth. They're not initiated. They don't know the occult.
Mm-hmm.
That's what everyone wants to bypass. Why is the pain there in the first place? What is this pain that I'm conditioned to avoid or think that something's wrong with me if I'm going through some major fucking shit? As if we're going to be able to bypass life.
Yeah.
But again, it's like I've said, it's all about your state of fucking mind. What is your state of mind in terms of your perception, the gauge of your perception as far as your experience is concerned? And you can change the gauge of your perception to it anytime you fucking want to. It's your attitude as well about a thing. If you have a shitty attitude, you can expect a shitty outcome. If you have a good attitude, despite the challenges and whatever the fuck is going on, chances are you're going to overcome these things and continue forward and continue to evolve and continue to manifest and experience what it is that you actually want to. Again, you're free to do whatever the fuck you please. You are free to experience whatever the fuck you want here. But to make excuses and to point the finger and plague the fucking victim and want something to blame anything else except yourself, you're not taking responsibility for your existence, and you're not really learning what it means to master being human. And that's the great challenge that we're all beset as far as incarnation is concerned, especially because of what religion has taught in terms of vicarious atonement. You're so fucking unworthy of the birthright that something has to come save you from your own shit. And that's everything that people are avoiding in context, which goes back to why they fucking suffer until they turn around and face it, transmute that fear into fucking courage and learn how to transcend the lockdown. Otherwise, it will continue. The Hegelian dialectic is a mathematical construct, phenomenon that manipulates mind against soul itself. When you get insight in terms of what is beyond this shit, especially making connection to the higher force, I swear to the gods, they would come fucking running. Everything that the soul is screaming for, the connection to fucking eternity.
Right.
Where life and existence has meaning, has purpose, and is forever expanding and growing and evolving. You're going to the next level. You're not getting sucked into the fucking void to be devoured or pulled into the evaporation zones, siphoning your fucking essence, life force energy and your codes and your memories and all of these things.
Yeah.
And you get layered up. You get tarred up where the soul spark is eclipsed in context to the will force. Ego, the will, is now directed by all of these other factors and not ignited the internal dragon. Again, without the dragon and the key, you don't transcend. And it's not a matter of escaping reality. It's a matter of anchoring the higher here in the face of the ultimate evil that wants to devour our fucking souls. Fuck them. Fuck them. Again, we're free to do what the fuck we please. And once you realize your responsibility in terms of freedom, you can break the chains of fucking slavery, transmute, alchemize, become who you are truly meant to be. In full confidence, with that knowing solidified, you become unfuckable with. Doesn't mean you're not going to have challenges and things to try to fuck with you, because it definitely, because it definitely happens here. And it may increase in terms of the factors I've mentioned. But again, it's a choice of what you are going to decide based upon the inner knowing, not allowing, consenting, having the gauge of your perception and your fucking feelings manipulated otherwise. Mastering thought and emotion and training yourself how to think things on purpose and how to feel into things on purpose with focused intention. When you got all of these goddamn blazing arrows coming right fucking at you. I mentioned this in another segment. One of the absolute most important factors in terms of your existence to reality are your personal shields in context to tribe, and also planetary shields anchoring the higher, connected to nature, the universe, who we truly are, and why we are here, and why we do what we do. You have to feel past this shit. You must feel past to see beyond the abyss as it's screaming into waking consciousness, the antithesis of what life, meaning, and being is all about here on Earth. It is a fucked up situation otherwise because of the mind fuck. People got wormholes riddled throughout their systems on a multidimensional level. And so you think it's happening out there somewhere in the universe, but you don't see your connection to that, let alone nature, your true nature, the true will. What is the condition of human nature? It's the condition of being cut off from it. And this is why. And without knowing the mechanics in terms of templating when it comes to actual initiation into the mystery school, which you have taken with me, when this shit comes up, and it will, I guarantee it will. It has been with me. Faced a lot of fucking challenges, faced a lot of fucking bullshit, faced a lot of fucking goddamn setbacks and delays. You cannot get all up in your fucking head about this shit and allow it to overwhelm your higher sensory perception in terms of who the fuck you are. If anything, all the challenges that we are pressed up against are designed to forge forth the true will. It's a fucking choice that we make as men, as women in this realm, what we are going to experience despite the circumstances. And by embracing the circumstance, we can forge forth. It's that space between the hammer and the anvil. It's fucking pain. To be thrown into fire again and again, and then folded and pounded even fucking more, again and again and again. Metaphorically speaking, this is what's happening with your fucking mind. And that's within the fulcrum. Contrary to the void, where you can't even fucking control this shit. You have no control. And this is why you're controlled, because you can't control yourself. You don't know thyself. You don't know why thyself. And without facing it and seeing it for what it is, you can set your gaze higher beyond the rift. Whereas most people, they stare headlong and they believe it. They co-sign the fucking narrative, and that's what sucks them the fuck in, to be devoured by these lesser forces. And until we really make that connection and sustain into expansion that connection and not take it for granted and not assume that because you have one or two fucking experiences that you don't need to keep going back to that power source in order to stay in alignment. If you know, you do. If you do, you get results. If you don't know, you don't do, and you don't get results. These are living arts and sciences, right?
Mm-hmm.
In order for them to work, you not only need to know how they work for you in terms of templating, all of us as individuals, but we have to know how to take action with it according to the template and the alignment of who we are and why we incarnated here on Earth. This sliver of bullshit is nothing compared to what is beyond. But without accountability, without getting on fire for it, having a standard, living by a code, and flagging that standard in terms of how you live and how you take action to manifest everything that is meant to be in alignment for you, which is the gift of the birthright. It is the actions we take to manifest that matter more than anything else, especially when thought and the true will is ignited to that. That's where you become a wrecking ball, but you must be patient. This is one of the major fucking tests in this lifetime. Knowing the difference on the level like I do is one of the most frustrating challenges that I personally face. I'm standing here knowing the difference, going, can we pull this together? Can we bring this together? Can we actually take action towards the true light of the gates of true intelligence and stop making excuses and stop bitching and moaning and complaining like a weakened victim to slavery and context to that state of fucking mind? You got to break those chains. And even after you break them, these fucks, these goddamn fucking vampires are going to work as hard as they can, as they have, to throw them back the fuck on. That's why you have to keep your wiring clear. This is very difficult here, but this is why we practice and do what we do. Taking it for real. Again, the code, the standard, the knowing, the drive, the passion. People out there mistake my passion in terms of things. I'm getting riled up here in terms of my expression, mistaken for some kind of unjustified anger in terms of a psychological projection. No, that's your projection because you're being challenged the gauge of your perception to the goddamn fucking abyss otherwise. I'm the bridge gate. I'm revealing how, one-on-one with individuals like I have with you, Jeslina.
Yeah.
This has great meaning to be able to dive deep and dig in and really discover who we are as unique individuals. My template operates obviously different than yours and everybody else out there who's taken initiation at level 1 apprentice full rights, let alone anyone that's listening otherwise. You may know about these things, you may have heard of these things, but are you living the arts? These are living, breathing things that when you take action in terms of your template, there is no denying the alignment of what is past, all of the contrast and bullshit that's going to do everything it can to hold you the fuck back from taking action towards that alignment. I've already made my choice, and I have to make it every single fucking day when I wake up, because there's days, again, and I've said this, there's days I want nothing to fucking do with this shit. This fucked up desire to be some kind of half-witted fucking moron that doesn't have to take responsibility. Know the fucking difference. Be just as stupid and idiotic as most of the fucking people out there. But that ain't me.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't you. That is not us. That is not our kind. We have incarnated in terms of greatness in this realm. Not to be diminished, not to be fucking undermined or passed on to the wayside, or put through the goddamn fucking meat grinder. We need to have a sense of dignity upon the guide that is showing you everything that is there. Dig your fucking heels in and take to the goddamn fucking grindstone. Place yourself on the anvil. Place yourself on the fucking altar and allow that hammer in terms of life force energy to ignite from within your core. That is one of the secrets of Thunor. That is one of the secrets of Thor. The protector of humanity, the protector of this realm, the protector of the sanctity of the birthright. And what all of this means, all of this has meaning. And it's not a belief I'm here to reinforce. This is how it is. The knighthood and the order, established the aeons, being remembered. Like I have said, I'm not the only one. I'm the way shower and voice to it, here to remind you and also teach as to my position in terms of the Magi Grail Shaman, lineage to legacy that this mystery school represents, which is why I do what I do. All of us that are here can cross the threshold together, whether it's literally, physically, together, or at a distance. We're all living this and we're all doing it. That's the point. Surrounded by people left and right getting sucked into the goddamn fucking abyss, into that void consciousness. The fucking Borg, El Borg, fuckers. That is not our destiny. That is not our purpose in terms of existence. Doing it, experience that and be focused on that and drive forward to that. Take action towards that, warding your field, throwing your shields within the fulcrum of the circle connected to the gates of true intelligence, where the flesh of Ra is pouring forth the Aten Ra itself as it fills your being with ecstasy to clarity. You're not being given over for fear of all of these things otherwise in terms of the contrast. It is fucked up what has happened, especially the last 3 years since 2020. And yeah, I'm going to hammer that even fucking harder on here. People don't know why all of this is happening, and they are in thrall, locked down into the 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5 in terms of the triangulation, and manipulated 9 to the 3 and 6. And that's what you see on here, an animation showing you on the surface what the fuck is actually going on. This is what you don't get out of. This is what you hit the wall to, not even knowing the difference. Yes, there was occult knowledge that you were never meant to know. Why? Because if you did, on the level, in terms of knowing how to transcend that in context to your individual templating, there wouldn't be a goddamn slave on the face of the entire earth. None. It would be fucking over on the level, because everything in terms of that ignition has to meet, has to magnetize. But they got everything repelled in terms of that trajectory. This trifecta, how the checkerboard mutation flips on itself. You can only get up to a certain point, and then it hits the fucking war. We came here to end the war of aeons. And the real war that we are all facing here in this realm is the one within yourself, reflected in denial, projecting your virtue and goodness upon that which does not deserve it. Again, without that boundary condition in terms of the 9, everything goes into fucking chaos in terms of the abyss. This is extremely powerful and even more well kept from the masses than you can possibly imagine, which is why we're going public with this particular follow-up session. Because the question you asked me at the very beginning, just, given me the opportunity to dive even deeper and tear through and make very fucking clear the path, bridge, gate, once you see it. Again, everybody's been veiled. And anybody out there hearing me in terms of this particular segment, it's not hearing about it that's going to get you there. It's going to take you coming to learn, coming to focus, to invest, and want to know, to get on the right side of things so that you can do and experience what myself and others that are doing the real work do in our lives here in this realm. The 9, which again goes back to your nervous system, physically speaking, reflected the pathways onto the gates, not only within yourself, but nature and the universe and all of existence connected to eternity. This is what the fuck these bastards, these goddamn fucking vampires want to cut us off from and pull us into this parallel Earth timeline bullshit that has nothing to do with why we are here. That is the illusion. That infrastructure is the goddamn fucking simulation. That is what you've been conditioned to. And all of us are responsible to change the condition. This is why initiation is so important. To reach the levels that we have been called to from within our core, we have to hear the cry of the wolf within our hearts. It is that thorn in your chest that you can feel right now. And if you ignore it, you will suffer. That I 100% guarantee. Not make excuses as to why we can't rise the fuck up. This is where people have been weakened and conditioned and castrated against the very soul itself. They don't want that spark ignition of the first eye cracking the fuck open within the center of your templating. That's where everything spirals through the trajectory of what is beyond the lockdown. And without establishing that first, in terms of the first gate of our quest, take it back to the Fool, unless you learn how to master the science of the circle of the magician, going back to your question and why you hit me up for this follow-up, you never get out of the first gate. And you will never come into the temple of the high priestess, which is a mente, where you are reminded of things you already know within your soul. Streamlines the nervous system in context to the roots. Take it back to the moon gate, how your thought and emotion operate, the gauge of your perception, why you react and respond the way that you do, right?
Mm-hmm. I've spent a lot of time working with my nervous system.
Yeah. The nervous system sprang forth from the heart.
Mm-hmm.
So where everything is converging, that's the sun. The roots are the fucking moon. That's one of the main secrets with the moon and the sun. If we just look at these things, go, that's just some, arbitrary shit. No, it's universal laws of metaphysics, eternal axioms. All is within us.
This whole thing about how the earth is dying, that's one of the things that can really drag me down, buying into that idea. But,
bullshit. The earth
like
isn't dying. You've just been cut off from it. That's why these people say this shit. And that's why you're dying in context to that narrative. You see what it does? That which connects you to who you truly are is what they want to kill. So that the gauge of your perception in terms of the manipulation of the first cosmic law, again, it's all about our state of mind. They skew the perception at the roots and then fuck with the correspondence in terms of triangulation when it comes to the checkerboard mutation. So no, that narrative is bullshit. The Earth Mother's fine. She could shake us off her fucking back anytime she wants. Fuck these humans. Either way, a death is going to take place. Either you die to the fucking programming or you die and perish in terms of your soul.
I love that.
And people that experience the latter, the pain is way fucking worse than you taking the quest. Because what's on the other side, in terms of the trajectory of what is beyond the rift of the void, when you see it, when you experience it, when you know it, it will liberate you beyond what I can even put into words. It will set such an unbelievable fire within your heart, that blazing lotus spring forth, that nothing, no matter what has taken place, the aeons, is going to stop. And this is what they can't stop. The human soul cannot be replicated. It cannot be artificially put into a simulation otherwise. You will go fucking insane. That is the end result in terms of their agendas. And humanity right now is about halfway fucking there. And this is why we must course correct the timeline. Like I said, timelines are being chosen. It's a choice. And I'm here on a strong beeline for Mars, right up Saturn's fucking ass, tearing through this cosmic granite to show the pathway through. This is a noble cause. And none of it is a waste of my time. And I wouldn't trade my position for anything because of what's on the other side of the equation. Not only unto myself, but for those to whom it's meant.
One more thing I wanted to ask you about, the video about the Lyran Codex.
Yeah.
Woman is meant to carry the magnetic field and specializes in magnetic reception. I get what you're saying there. If you could speak a little bit more on that.
All of us have the positive and negative charge of the energy force within our template to work with.
Mm-hmm.
There's times to take action, yang, in context. And then there's times that we need to go yin and receive. Allow the gift to unveil itself to you. Instead of trying to force a thing, allow it to come to you. If you magnetize to yourself what you want to be experiencing or what you want to manifest, you got to go out and make it happen.
That makes a lot of sense.
There's a time and a place for that, but there's also situations in life where we have to be in the position to receive. That's what it means to go yin.
Yeah. I think that is definitely what
women naturally, even in terms of your body politic, receive.
Mm-hmm.
Men, in terms of who we are naturally speaking, take it back to the body politic, project into the reality.
Yeah.
So when you start going overtly fucking yang, you're going to get your fucking essence siphoned. Women are naturally yin, men are yang, the positive and negative charge. And the way it expresses itself in nature in terms of our experience here, it's the mystery between men and women. And we're completely different fucking creatures. There's a boundary condition that reflects nature and the universe and how things actually work. And if we can't get it right in terms of knowing the fucking difference, this is why all the issues and problems happen. Two people going yin, it ain't going to fucking work. You're triangulated.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why men need to be men and women need to be women. And course correct this madness, this bullshit that's going the fuck on. It's just all fucking manipulators. On extreme entitlement when it comes to women, they think that everything
they
are operating from the void. Going back to the principle, though, of the yin factor, you're in a position to receive, whereas the yang is the position to give. It's the law of equal energy exchange, positive and negative charge. And we all have that within our template. All of us have the positive and negative charge. The wand of fire, that's the nervous system. So there's times where you're going to have to take action versus being in a position to receive its manifestation, to your question.
Okay, that helps a lot. I mean, just that idea, what you meant by magnetic reception is I magnetize towards myself. When it works, I'm always like, oh, that's lovely. I know that's true on a deeper level.
Women naturally manifest different than men.
Yeah.
Now, if you go try to be like a fucking man, it ain't going to work.
Right, yeah.
Vice versa.
Of course. Yeah.
No, that's not how we're meant to operate as men. But when you get the flow, the energetic synthesis going, you'll know when to be a certain way. Action versus reception. Action, reception. Input, output.
Yeah, that makes sense. I feel a lot more aligned with that too, being able to discern what is needed for each situation.
And in terms of triangulation, when the 9 is positive, both the 3 and 6 are negative, the energies naturally repel instead of magnetize. Because when you get positive negative charge in alignment, it comes together. That's where you want the wand of fire to be. You want the 9 to be both positive and negative. But that can only happen on the level when 0 and 9 are in alignment, like I've explained. When the wand of fire is in alignment within the vortex of the circle of the magician, in connection with core intelligence, take it to the body politic, like I have explained about the nervous system. Take it to the mental body. Take it to the emotional body. Take it to your temporal existence. Take that to spirituality, which puts us in a position to not only transcend the Watcher's game in terms of the Svartalfar, but we override and transcend and pull back into alignment everything in terms of the original timeline trajectory. All that's required for that, all in which that entails, it's the fundamental and principle to a mathematical construct of which the one that is currently operating within the reality field, again, the illusion, the distortion, this mathematical reversal technology to fallen angles, angels, geometric reversal technologies, distorting the templating of this fucking reality. The dark hearts, those that are eclipsed, the abyss, in terms of the void. The honeycomb to which these vampiric hornets cultivate and give birth to larvae from cradle to fucking grave, programmed to it. They have not only given the whole entire fucking world their fucking mind on an unconscious, subconscious level. Take it to Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Uranus is where you ignite, Neptune is where you heal, and Pluto is where you transform. The North Star is where you fucking evolve. The South Star is what you already know. And everything else in terms of templating when it comes to the law of correspondence, as above, so below. These are major, and I mean major, unspoken factors as to why this shit has not been transcended in our realm since what happened did. And unless you have a mind to it, and you're able to see it with clarity, it's one ear, not the other. And then you're back in on another fucking spoke on the wheel of triangulation tomorrow or the next day or next week or next fucking year, next fucking lifetime. It doesn't fucking change. And the infrastructure in terms of the lockdown equations fractals out on itself like you see here on the video. That's how the fractal virus operates and conditions the mind against itself. That's the split right down the fucking middle. In extreme cases is the cause point for all mental disorders in terms of madness. It continues to fractal the fuck out on itself. It shape shifts like a draconian, reptilian, Omicron, Odetacron piece of fucking shit. This is the shadow dragon that we're all up against. This is Nidhogg, gnawing at the roots. As Ratatasker, the cause point for contention unto the great eagle, unto the phoenix, unto the soul. Recognize the symbolism. Again, symbolism is 101. I can get into symbolism all day, making correlations in terms of fundamentals and principles and how things actually work. Much of which is hidden in plain sight. Have the first eye to see cracked open the Yatan Ra, the Haru, and take it to Horus in terms of the Phoenix. I don't think it's just one faction that's jockeying for position to rule over and enslave mankind. No, it's more than one. And this goes back to the trifecta. Not only in terms of the 3 main world religions, which all go back to Satanism and dark Luciferianism, left-wing Zionism, communism. Okay. All of this is very, very old to the divide and conquer and the destruction of tribe, the family unit, the sanctity of the relationship between men and women, and even deeper, the relationship you have unto yourself. Look at the fucking world. You want to know the cause points to it? That's what a lot of people are starting to recognize more and more and more, but don't understand the mathematical construct within the infrastructure running on a fucking program within the templating. This is mathematical scalar wave reversal technologies on top of the needlecraft graphene oxide, which wraps itself around the nervous system in terms of their honeycomb, the building blocks of what they implement, manipulating the nine. You have to know what 0 and 9 are, metaphysically speaking. They're not just numbers on a page that you do arithmetic with. Numbers alive are also guides in terms of our templating. And to that, I am double one, motherfuckers. Double one, which is 11. Also hold the 22 and 33 within my fucking template. I'm 44 this year. And next year, 2024, is the year of the dragon. Hear what I'm saying. With all of the challenges that we've all been facing across the board, it's to recognize this. It's to share this with others. Let them know. Should be getting shared by every subscriber to this channel. This is what I do. Getting every chance I get to be able to make a segment. Otherwise, I'm teaching. I'm teaching 24/7, nonstop, doing administration and a lot of other things in terms of my life in general. And I have the heart of a general that's been here, done this shit. And taking it to the quadrivium, specifically getting into mathematics. Without the right system of mathematics, you're fucked. And that's the system of mathematics 99.9% of the world has been conditioned to fucking operate in. It opens up the parasitic gates to the fucking abyss. Again, when you take 0 out of the equation and make the magician in terms of gates first before the great halls of Amente itself, it pulled into the thrall of the left wing and the right wing brotherhoods and sisterhoods in context to the dark priest class. Who the fuck do you think rules and reigns? You think it's politicians? You think it's fucking bankers calling the shots? All of them are owned and all of them are order followers. It goes way deeper than the surface of what we are observing within the first veil. And that's why in terms of any uprise on the fucking level, nothing's worked because you don't know who the real enemy is or how the real enemy operates. It works really well within the first veil, up into the second, the third, the fourth, and you step onto the front lines of the real war that's taking place. That's when shit starts to get real. 0 and 9 must be in alignment using the correct mathematics in terms of our templating, our practice, our lives, and how we construct things within this world, carving it out of the fabric of the universe so that it can continue to thrive and not be devoured and not be pulled in. We have to destroy what's riding them on higher levels beyond this fucking realm in terms of how it's being pulled in. We go to the fucking root. We don't skate the fucking bark and the fucking leaves in terms of the tree, that dead tree of stagnation and chaos. Gubala to clip off those poisoned roots. The lesser entities that are really running shit do not belong here. They are not even of this universe, as stated by their meat sacks. And until you wake the fuck up on that level and engage on that level and transcend on that level, nothing changes to the thrall of its manifestation within the first veil. The Hegelian dialectic will continue forward and continue to fractal the fuck out on itself. I'm dropping major, major bombs in this segment, Jesalina. I hope you're bearing with me here. I have to get this out.
That's really helpful. But I would think also the repelling could be a positive thing if it's something that doesn't serve you, right?
Right. If things are not in alignment, they're going to repel.
Right.
They naturally repel. It's cause and effect.
Yeah. Okay. I like that.
So if something is happening in context to that, something's not in alignment. And it's all about calling the shit the fuck out for what it is, making the course correct. You don't want to be pulled into a spin cycle or a feedback loop in context to repelling energies. That's where everything is getting sucked the fuck dry. That's where essence is getting sucked the fuck dry. That's where resources is getting sucked the fuck dry. It can manifest many different ways.
Okay. Yeah, no, that I'm just I'm just thinking about that because I've been looking at the mathematics. I've been really studying that. The way that you put all that together really clicked something for me that I'm gonna have to think about a lot more. It just makes perfect sense.
And
Right.
unless you know how to organize, you can't wield magic. Chaos, which is stagnation, entropy, rot, in terms of the void. This is why they do chaos magic against us, keeping people confused, keeping people on fucking triggers, designed to wear out the energy system. All the stress, all of the fucking fear, all of the anxiety. And that's there for a reason. Why? It's because you're not in alignment, motherfucker.
Is the torus part of the fabric of reality?
Absolutely. It absolutely is. But is what is also highly manipulated against us in terms of triangulation.
Okay. Right.
It's twisted on the wheel. Again, take it back to the Ouroboros. Above the head of the magician, the symbol of infinity is where they twist the circle. It's where they seal the gate the fuck off in terms of triangulation. You take zero out of the equation and you throw the magician first before the high priestess. Who the fuck do you think rules and reigns the reality? Like I have explained. And that's what they do. They're fucking vampires. The magician gate in the tarot is fucking Loki. I don't care what anybody fucking says. The tarot is the path of Odin. It's all there. It's all there in terms of symbolism. It's mind-blowing shit. And the path of Odin is the path to wisdom. It's the path to self-mastery. Most people, again, Jeslina, they don't get out of the first gate in terms of the science of the circle of the magician because they don't understand the nature of zero. So the torus and all of these things observed to reality is manipulated against us. Marco Rodin goes into explaining the triangulation and the lockdown in his own way. The man, though genius with brilliant insight in terms of his observations, is not a magus. And I, across the table in terms, am not a mathematician. But I've been able to make the correlations, not only what he's presented, but others I know that I've corresponded with for years. Breaking it down their way, this took me into being able to observe the wiring of the infrastructure. It's the only advanced system of mathematics that ever made sense to me because all the other ones, the lockdown, mathematical construct, puts reality into repel. We're no longer connected to the animals. We're poaching them, right?
Yeah.
We're no longer connected to one another. We're all divisive. Everyone is just a fucking piece of shit for whatever fucking reason. These are factors that I'm explaining why things manifest in terms of repelling situations. Why is this fucking happening? Because it's being manipulated by dark sorcery. They use all these arts and sciences against us. Do you understand?
Oh, yeah. Right.
That's what the magician wants to be.
That's the misuse of power, right?
Right. He trades out his potential to master universal planetary elemental consciousness in trade for the wand of the ether. That's what these fuckers have done. They want to be the god. They want to be the one god, control minds. And see, the individual that cannot master themselves goes out of their way to enslave others. A true leader.
Right. Kind of like the ultimate projection, right?
In denial.
Denial and projection, yeah.
Absolutely. They are the void. They are a reflection of the fucking void. And around the waist of the magician, which again is Loki, the left wing, lilies and roses equation. Lockdown of the 3124876. Manipulation of the nine in terms of the ether, the astral ocean within which Jormungandr, taken unto Apophis and Nidhogg, rule its depths. And this is how they manipulate the second cosmic law of correspondence, as above, so below. The magician is standing there, the hand signed to correspondence. And there's much to say about the mystery of what is on the front edge of the table of elements, the cups, the wands, to swords and pentacles. It's earth, air, water, fire, spirit, standing as the pentacle star, or earth, air, fire, and water, controlled by the manipulation of the ether, which is the pentagram. You need to know how both work. And this in terms of having a 360-degree view of how things are in terms of reality, reveal the mysteries of Ingwas, which is the diamond gate portal to that which is beyond. They want to rule as God from that position. They themselves are enslaved. They themselves are not willing to do the real fucking work. Why? Because they will be force confronted within the fulcrum. They take that out of the equation. They teach you how to invoke, how to conjure, how to summon lesser entities instead of tapping and integrating your own eternal spirit in terms of your connection to eternity. anchored in this realm. That's what they fear. That's why they're freaking the fuck out. That's why they did what they did in 2020.
Yeah.
Because they don't want the codes to fucking activate. They don't want us to remember how to operate our being within this realm. Again, making the field even. You get leverage within this realm, and then you're able to transcend and anchor the higher here in terms of your experience. Fuck them.
That's what I would like to do. Anchor the higher here.
Right. And the way it works for you in terms of templating and codes, and your moon's in Pisces, sun's in Scorpio, ascendant's in Sagittarius. You've been here, done this. Although in terms of previous incarnation, you were a young soul. This life, you're getting the opportunity. You have portions within your templating that are going to give you the ability to definitely do this, to experience transformation in terms of the ignition of the will force, really tapping that shamanic experience with the moon gate and the fire magic in the world, what you're meant to be operating with in context to Sagittarius. And with both is where you heal, with the moon gate and the ascendant, with your Neptune and Sagittarius in the 12th house conjunction. It's also conjunct your Mercury, which is in Sagittarius in the 12th house. So Venus is in Scorpio, Mars is in the 8th house conjunction to the sun gate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Uranus in Scorpio is where the template ignites. A lot of this inner knowing about what the Phoenix cycles are reveal themselves. But it's been challenged by Saturn, greatly challenged by Saturn.
Saturn's actually been going over my moon.
Yeah.
So
your Saturn's always been in the 8th house. It's always going to be in the 8th house.
Saturn's opposing it now in the transition.
Yeah.
So
in terms of the actions you're taking towards soul, you come up against that challenge where the template ignites is the conjunction with Uranus in the 11th house to your sun in the 11th house. That's the Aquarian star.
Mm-hmm.
So true organic technology or connection to nature and the universe, or AI.
It's like a no-brainer for me.
Right.
I feel that in my cells or whatever.
Like Sun and Scorpio in the 11th house. This is very powerful shit we're getting into. Look, you don't have a chance here. Realize it's going to take time. It was very good questions today. What you've asked me.
Yeah, I feel really good about what you've given me too. I have so much to work with. The thing that excited me the most was when you were talking about the negative and positive repelling and the magnetism and stuff. And that's the thing that I'm working with. But everything that you've said today has it's just really ignited a strong energy inside of me that is invigorating and makes me committed to the work. I was feeling really drained, getting stuck in a dead end energetically.
Sure.
The things that we've talked about today. And like I said, I want to go back through a lot of your videos and re-listen to them. It's been a couple of years and just dig in and see what else I can grab onto. And then hopefully have another session with you soon when I have some more questions. So
again, make the higher force your focus. Don't focus on what's throwing itself into waking consciousness when it comes to the void. Be in a place of observation with that shit and let it stack and burn the fuck out of your fucking template.
Okay. Thank you. That's really helpful. Saying that, I can feel that. I will use that imagery.
Fuck. 2023, I warned. Again, like I said, you're free to do what the fuck you please, but not without consequence, not without recourse. And knowing how things work, you can gauge the potential manifestation of a thing and not be confused. I'll go ahead and leave you with that. We're up on time.
Yes.
Excellent conversation. Let me know otherwise, and I look forward to speaking with you again. Just know.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
Excellent. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
And with that, to wrap things up, go into the description below. Click on the link, blackearthproductions with a Z.com. Everything in terms with the mystery school is on the services page. In terms of the website, I advocate anybody out there that has not done level 1 apprentice in terms of the full rights initiation into the mystery school, now is the time. There's a payment plan to rate made available for those who need it. I encourage you to make the investment. This is where I go into one-on-one mentorship with individuals, taking you deep. This was a follow-up session that I did with Jeslina, but everything leading into this conversation that we had today went into even more proper knowledge and wisdom that I cannot share public in terms of any segment, in terms of any sort of group dynamic seminar. That is not how this operates. In terms of actual initiation, operating in the ways that the Magi Grail Shaman, that the ancients did, one-on-one teacher to student. All of it gets very specific, and it's undeniable when you take action on everything that is revealed to the individual with it. Just Lena's experiencing it. I still continue to experience it in terms of my own pathwork trajectory, as well as everyone else that has held themselves accountable to the standard, to the code, and the banner that we flag here at Black Earth Productions. Many are networked, and I am networked with many. At the same time, all of us does need to go to the next levels, and I encourage and empower you, no matter what your circumstances are. I know a lot of people out there have been going through some hard shit this year. Again, I won't. But we need to continue to stand our ground no matter what, knowing the difference, make shit happen, and kick life's ass like we are supposed to. Not get your ass kicked by life. Life isn't something that happens to you. You happen to it in order to live. And if you want to live ignited for real, in terms of crossing this threshold, then send me an email at blackearthproductions with an S at hotmail.com. Sign up for Level 1 Apprentice, full rights initiation into the Mystery School. Again, this is with a 20% off discount. There's other services made available in terms of runes, in terms of astral psychology, in terms of tarot, in terms of the art and science of alchemy, as well as full access to the Black Earth Library, which is 6 terabytes of occult reference material that you are not going to get anywhere else on the face of the earth. You could spend the rest of your life within those archives, and then some in terms of what is going to continue to be added with the Black Earth Library, and also added in terms of service with the Mystery School. Those that have taken Level 1 Apprentice Full Rights Initiation, if you have not done Level 2 Adept Wolfenar training, now is the time to step onto the front lines and really learn even more what is required in terms of winning this war on consciousness. It's not the topics of conversations that we are having that matter more than the actions you take and the results that you get in your life unto existence, and in terms of our world, which belongs to us in terms of these rites of initiation into the secrets, into the occult of how things actually work. The Nectar of Athanasia, available at public rates, and with a Level 1 Apprentice Full Rights Initiation, it comes with a 50% off discount in continuance in terms of your credentials with the Mystery School, as well as access to our apothecary, as well as access to our weapons forge, as well as access to everything that is made available. I invite you, I implore you, come forward, work with me, and I will work with you. We follow the law of Gebo, and you're going to get a lot more in return than you could possibly imagine once these steps are taken. I am 100% committed to the legacy of what this Mystery School represents. And if you want to know more about what it actually represents on the level, you're coming through the doors and see what it's all about. And with that, as unto the mythologies, time is something that you will never get back. Now's the opportunity. This is Sethikus Boza, Black Earth Productions, Blue Flame, Healing Arts, and Occult Science, Temple of the White Dragon. Be empowered, be encouraged. Hails!